Hello, welcome to Tabletop 24. Today we're going to be unboxing Kingmaker. Designed by Andrew McNeil, published in 2023 by Gibsons. This is a re-implementation of a 1974 game and is actually 4 games in one. So you've got Kingmaker 2, the classic Kingmaker, extended Kingmaker and a solo game. It is a war game based on the War of the Roses in England, and we'll get into it. So it plays up to 6 players, can take up to 6 hours to play, so it's quite a big game. So straight away in here, we've got the rule books. So we've got the rule book for Kingmaker II. It's quite a detailed game, and difficulty 3 on Board Game Geek out of 5, so it's not overly complicated, but it's complex in the sense that there's lots going on. Here we've got the rulebook for the solo challenge, solo game. A bit smaller, just explains how the bots work. This is a player aid essentially, or the bot aid for the solo game. So you can keep it to hand rather than go through the rulebook every time once you know the rules. Kingmaker Classic. The rules for the classic Kingmaker game. And on the back, turn upside down, you've got the extended classic. So 2 rule books in one, just flip them over. This is a guide to kingmaking, so it's recommended that you read this first to give you some idea about how to play and how to do your first game. It takes you through the first few turns and hints to how to play Kingmaker 2. There are some player aids here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 player aids. So they look, yes, they're identical. And I'll tell you some of the shortcuts to all the major icons, some of the odds for when you're in combat, and all locations on the board with a grid reference to explain where they are if you're not familiar with the geography of England. And here's another bot player aid for the solo challenge. There's lots of punch boards, so these are essentially the various factions. There's 6 factions with different colours, and on the back they've got the same faction but the fortified symbol. There's the battle board here for one-on-one combat, and a few other icons here for that. Down here we've got the prestige victory tokens, we've got the royal tokens, Henry VI, Richard Duke of York and their families. We've got the ship icons and the start player token, and then these are some icons for when you get the forces get too large to put on the board, you can replace them with these icons to represent the total forces. So this is the board. Need a bit of space for this, I think. So start off with the board for the Kingmaker II. Get this open. So too big to really show all at once on this camera. Basically that's the Kingmaker II board with all the locations on there. You're moving down the roads and across the fields. Just take these areas, put your candidate on the throne. And they lay the cards down the side here. And then there's space at the top here for the crown deck discards and the event deck. And on the other side, you've got a slightly different board for the classic game. It's very similar. There's a few little changes in there down the side, you can see. So whichever game you're playing, you select the side of the board correspondingly. Let's pop this away. Okay, so back in here then. So in this one, instead of having plastic bags put your tokens in, they've supplied these sort of slightly waxed paper bags. There's 7 of these, so one for each faction and one for the other tokens. And then there's some stickers here that are used to close off the bags once they're full, so you can reuse them. And then we've got the cards themselves. So there's some packing cardboard in here, and then we've got some slippage of movement in here as it's been transported around. So we've got a couple of dice. First of all, just standard 6-sided dice. That's some tactile. So these are some of the event cards. And there's quite a lot of these in the game. This is really what drives the game forward. And there's more event cards in here. So there's a big stack of these, all colour coded depending on what the event's describing. And so there you go. Quite nice size. Should be easy to read from across the table. There's a few strays in there which I'll get later. And then we've got the crown cards, which are basically some of the characters and figures from history and the nobles that are going to be supporting the various factions. And some of the roles and responsibilities that they've got. And then also the ships. And then the some of the towns that you'll be vying for control of, or influence over, in fact. And then these are a few more of the crown cards with the red backs. Get more towns and more people. And then I think, yeah, so these are the victory cards. How you choose, you can have a victory either by defeating your opponents in battle or by building up enough prestige to win the day. And this, you pick which one you're going to be using depending on the number of players that are playing. And more town cards, battle cards, which shows how much prestige you can get from that battle. And then we get the royal cards that have the characteristics of the royal families of the Lancastrians and the Yorks. Finally, you've got the faction cards. So each side starts off with a faction of allied nobles, and you pick the ones depending on how many numbers of players you've got, and you'll randomly pick these. And then these, as an example, show how many men they can call upon to come to their aid in support of their chosen king. So there's a divider in here that holds things generally in place, but as you can see, it's had some things moving around in there. So these are the rest of the event cards that I didn't get to. So there we have it. That is Kingmaker. Looks like a beast of a game, or 4 games, so I'm going to enjoy getting into that. If you like what you see here, Please check out the other content on the channel and like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.